What's up, guys? Another Tuesday night edition of Flight Club. Hope you guys are doing well tonight.
A week already? That's hard to
Yeah, I know. And we had a great time last week, man, on here. It was a good show.
Man, the after show was great.
Yeah, we talked to him for another hour after we got done.
It was amazing, man. He's funny.
He's got a lot of projects.
He's got a lot of projects.
So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a great week. Like I said, Wayne actually got some good flying in. How long did you fly Saturday?
12 solid hours.
Said he was delusional from flying.
It was great. There was no one at the field. I was the only one.
Wow.
You missed
You the only one?
I was the only one at the field. I had the whole, they've all mowed it. Everything was immaculate. It was like it was my own private field. Not one person was there. 12 straight hours. I was there.
Wow.
It was great. I flew everything.
I flew nobody.
I flew the GB, the big old fat girl. I flew, what's that tiny little EFX?
Yeah,
the
EFX.
Greenie.
Yeah.
The Speedster. What else did I fly? I flew the Lucky Gallon. I flew the big 190, 55cc 190.
Man, dang.
It was great.
Had a good time.
It was great. Nobody
cool.
was there. Somebody showed up at the end of the day. It was Augie and Robert, the president.
Okay. Wow, man. So yeah, that was nice. But I hope you guys are having a great start to your week. Another great Tuesday night here. And in case you guys saw the premiere of the night, we have a awesome guest waiting in the wings. His name is Mr. Thomas White. And if you have not seen his YouTube channel, guys, you might want to check it out. It's RC Flight Works.
It's incredible.
And he is in the process of building a big, huge 20-foot wingspan B-29.
That's
guys.
massive.
And it is massive. So we figured you guys might like to hear all about it tonight and how he's done it and what he's putting in it and all the cool stuff. And we also got some great stuff to offer you guys.
You got
here
a lot
tonight.
of darkness in your eyes.
There
you
we
go.
Let there be light.
And the
right?
lighting guy just left too. Guy sucks. You suck.
So we're gonna bring him in, and you guys please give him a nice welcome tonight. And let's pull him in here. There he is. What's up, man?
Hey, not too much. How y'all guys doing tonight?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, staying busy.
I hear you, man. That's always a good thing, right?
Most of the time.
I hear you. So I've been watching the videos, man, on this build, and that's a massive plane.
That puts it very lightly. It's massive is one word. There's many adjectives you could use for this thing, and it's a heck of an undertaking. Let's put it that way.
Wow. So is that it sitting behind you there?
That is it. And most people don't understand how big it is unless they've seen it in person. But it's sitting on a 4-foot by 8-foot table.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
3 foot off the ground. So, I mean, it makes the table look small.
So what's the projected weight going to be on the finish?
Yes.
Exactly. Wow, he builds like us. We build it and then we do calculations later.
Yeah.
Exactly. Honestly, I have an idea. It's going to be heavy. It's going to be north of 100 pounds. I know that much.
Yeah.
The exact
So
weight.
that's under the LMA, the second one. The second
Yeah,
tier?
the LMA2 maximum is 125,
Yeah.
and we're going to be very, very close to it. We're doing everything we can to save weight by
It's
putting.
tough. That's a massive, massive machine.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about 400cc, 120cc gasoline twins. I mean, you're talking 30 pounds worth of engines and fuel system alone, on top of a 20-pound set of landing gear. I mean, ounces start adding up to pounds very, very quickly on an airplane this size. For instance, there's 150 feet of servo extensions in this airplane.
Oh, man.
So when you start looking at that and you start comparing something like a conventional heavy-duty servo wire to something like a power box wire, which uses a slightly smaller signal wire and thinner insulation, the power box wire is 4 or 5 times more expensive, but you save 3 to 5 pounds of wire weight.
Wow.
So you got to spend money to make weight on an airplane like this.
Well, that's definitely not a project for Ashtray Aviation. I can tell you that.
No. Well, I told him you had a Black Widow too.
Yeah, I got a Black Widow P61. You got one of those Rollies?
I've got one sitting in a box waiting.
Sitting in the box?
Sitting in the box. It's a kit from Chuck Guild, which is cut probably 20 years ago. I've got a brand new set of Robart retract.
Wow.
But
Well, I'm way ahead of you on that one. Mine is all built in glass and primered.
I'll do an even trade with you. I'll do an even trade with you.
Yeah, it's just something about I look at all those kits when I open up a new kit like that. You know, it's a box of lumber, right?
Oh yeah.
And you go, like, how many hours do you think you have in your B29 already?
I've been working on it
Really?
for 6 months, probably 20 to 30 hours a week.
Mm.
So I don't know. You do the math.
That's about 900 hours.
Yeah, and this is an airplane that we got that was 80% done, but
Wow.
50% of it was broken. So,
So have you hit the burnout wall yet?
I'm getting close.
Yeah. So that's a hard place to get over because you just want to vomit every time you see it.
Yeah, you know, I enjoy building almost as much as I do flying. But the thing I enjoy most about building is getting past the building aspect and getting into the painting and the detailing and the weathering and everything. That is what keeps me coming back to like scale projects like this thing. Because once you get past all the dusty work, you get into more dusty work, but it's the fun stuff.
Right. Yeah, because like, hinging is my worst subject. I despise any kind of hinging. I despise it. I don't care if it's the fabric or if it's the pin.
Yeah.
Just everybody has their place that they hate and everybody has their place that they love. So
Yep.
it's like once you get to your happy place, you're like, okay, we can do this.
Yep. The thing I hate most is sanding. And there's a lot of sanding on this airplane. I think I've already gone through 150 sheets of sandpaper.
Oh,
Wow.
And that was just on primer.
Good God.
And the fuselage still has to be
do you
sanded.
think you're going to have involved once you get done?
What's that?
How much money do you think you have involved with that by the time you get done?
It'll be a $25,000 airplane easily.
Gosh.
Easily.
Mm.
And that's
Wow.
that's not including the cost of what we paid for the airplane and the retracts and stuff, and like what it would cost to get it to the point where you see it in that photo. So I mean, to build one of these like from ground zero, you're probably talking $40,000-$50,000 easily, because the landing gear alone will cost you anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 for a one-off set of gear.
That's beyond already EAA. You could be in your own airplane.
That is one thing we have been looking for the past couple of years, is some property that would allow us to fly at our house. But up in the mountains, that flat field is hard to come by.
You need to take it to Rabbit Dry Lake out there in the Mojave Desert. You got 3, 4, 5 miles of anything in any direction. Whatever the wind blows, you can take off and land.
Ain't that the truth? So this thing, I mean, you watch videos of Mac flying it from 10 years ago, and the airplane, it takes off in 400 or 500 feet. It's a pretty easy airplane to fly. It's big, it's heavy, it's kind of lumbersome, but the bigger they are, the better they fly.
That's true, absolutely true. How thick is that wing cord at the root?
Thickness wise, I want to say right about 8 inches.
8 inches.
Yep. The wing cord at the fuselage is 40 inches or so.
Wow.
And the fuselage is about 16 inches in diameter. 16 inches, or about 16
My
inches.
goodness.
I mean, look at him standing.
Yeah, I know. It looks like a 5-gallon bucket. It's bigger than a 5-gallon
bucket.
And that's just the 2 inboard engines.
Yep.
So what did you end up going with as far as your engines go?
We haven't purchased any yet. We have it kind of narrowed down to either GP 123s. Those are kind of the front runners at the moment. And then the backup is probably DA 100s.
Wow.
Yeah, it's probably better to go with more power than not.
Yeah, it originally had DA 100s to begin with Zinger propellers, and it had, I wouldn't say it was plenty of power, but it was enough power for a B-29.
Yeah, it's marginal.
And, the Zinger propellers, back in then, I mean, Zinger was really about the only option you had for 4-blade props. So with the newer stuff like Bila and Falcon and whatnot, you could get a lot better performing propellers on a DA, and it'd probably be a completely different airplane performance-wise.
Yeah, scratchy feedback.
Did you ever get to see the B-29 Byron original flew?
I did not see the Byron one. I've seen photos of it, and that one makes this one look small.
It was huge, yeah, because I was there when they flew the B-29, and this was back in the late 80s.
Right,
massive.
yeah. I want to say that one was 24 or 28-foot wingspan, so
mega, dude. Massive.
Like almost 5 to 10 foot bigger than this airplane is.
Wow.
And I mean, the guys at Byron, they've made some really impressive stuff. I think their big B-29 had Quadra 100s on gear drive or something on it.
Correct.
and 2 transmitters to fly. I mean, that airplane was really impressive
On
for its
72
time.
megahertz.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, the good old days of 72.
Not even the narrow band yet. That wasn't even existing until 91.
Right. Those guys, I mean, yeah, they were definitely the forefathers and the grandfathers of giant scale aviation.
Yeah, and he just loved airplanes. That's the only reason why he started building and selling them. He loved them. He just made all his money in the trailer sales, I believe, and then he got into fuel sales, the Byron
Right.
fuel.
Box, man.
What's wrong
Yeah,
with my
it
box?
It was a sad day when Byron stopped selling kits.
Check the box
My,
in your pocket. We're
What
trying
about-
to check our mics. We're getting some scratchy feedback for some reason.
Oh, gotcha.
Make sure everything's
no,
plugged in.
mine's on.
Yeah, everything's on, but it's got
Is it
scratchy.
screechy, or is it needs to be more amped? So what are we doing? Is it
I
down?
don't know. You hear it? Don't you hear it?
Yeah, so it's got back feed.
Something. I don't know why it's doing that.
All right, try that. I up the gain a little.
No, see,
No?
it's still doing it. It's weird.
It's the video.
No, it's not.
No. It's that video. It's the.
No.
Seems to me that'd be that video.
I don't think so. Volume's muted on that. We're picking up NASA. That's what Tom said.
Can you guys hear anything on the other end? Are you hearing any interference?
I don't know.
Okay, so they can't hear it, so it's us.
Okay, well, Jeff said it's on Thomas's end, so I don't know. Is it your mic?
I don't hear anything.
See, I don't know.
Okay,
You sound fine.
so
to me.
it's between him and us and them.
Yeah.
So did you sign something? Did you sign your life away to do this project, or how'd you get onto this?
Actually, it's my son's fault.
You're gonna blame your son?
Yeah, I've got a 13-year-old boy, and he was about 5 years old, and was the first time he saw Fifi. And we got him a little metal toy model of the airplane, and ever since that day, he's always wanted kind of a B-29, or at least he says I should have a B-29. So last year, he kind of got started in the hobby a lot more than he has in the past, and started going to events with me. And the more events he went to, the more he said he wanted a B-29, and I needed to build him one. And one day earlier this year, I showed him a video of Mac flying this thing on YouTube, and he looked at me and he's like, "I want that B-29."
Oh man,
There you go.
you need to get a job.
Yeah, 13-year-old has very big eyeballs for as small as his wallet is, or at least as small as mine is. So just out of the blue, I emailed Mac just asking if the landing gear for the airplane was available, and he said not only was the airplane or the landing gear still around, the airplane was still around. So we got in contact with the guy who had the airplane, had an hour or two long conversation, and long story short, we ended up driving down to his place, picked up the airplane, and after a substantial amount of cash, I bought a set of landing gear, and my son was given the airplane.
Wow.
So it's his fault for this whole thing. I'm just the one who kind of instigated it.
So is he going to fly it?
Not on the Maiden.
Yeah, definitely not on the Maiden. He's only been flying for a little over a year, and I'll tell you, the kid is picking it up like he was born to do it his entire life. And if he keeps flying like he has been and picking stuff up as quickly as he has been, he'll have no issues flying the airplane.
Well, they've got that killer hand-eye coordination too. You know what I mean?
Isn't that the truth? I mean, he's been flying little E-Flight T-28 foamies for the past 6 months, and then we've got a Zeroli Hellcat that he pulled out of a trash can that I rebuilt, that we have affectionately named Trash Panda. And we take that thing out, and it's got a DLE 100 on the front of it, and he flies the snot out of it every single time.
Wow.
So tell us what you're doing here in the video now.
I'm probably building the wrong aileron for the third time.
For the third time?
Yeah, so the airplane, it's designed. Oh man, this chair is going to kill me today. The airplane has foam core, fuselage, sheeted balsa wood foam, and everything for everything: the wings, the fuselage, the tail section, and the nacelles are really the only thing that are all wood. And one of those many ways that we're trying to save weight off the airplane, I elected to make it more scale by doing a built-up elevator and aileron, kind of like a scale construction. And doing so, that saves about 4 pounds total off the airplane between the two ailerons and just the two elevators.
Wow.
So I think this particular video, I was cutting all the parts for the ailerons and the elevators. I ended up building those ailerons that actually did not fit the wing. So I ended up building 2 more sets of ailerons before I got one good usable set.
Dang. So are you using a laser cutter?
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to have bought my own laser cutter about 7 or 8 years ago. And that thing during building season, which is year round for me, it stays busy almost a couple of hours every week. I'm constantly using that thing for anything and everything.
How many watts is it?
That one's 130 watts. And
wow, you better watch your toes, man. You cut your toes off.
The cutting bed is 3 foot by 5 foot.
That's big.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah. You're a mini Lockheed there.
Yeah, so I bought that size laser because I had intentions on building a home built airplane before the B-29 showed up.
Well, the B-29 is the home built airplane.
Yeah.
It is at this point, yes.
Well, that's just an incredible, absolutely insane project. I mean, I watch all the guys over in Europe and all the big stuff they do over there. Man, they built some massive things.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. I wish we had the luxury of the weight limitations that they had here.
Yeah. You ever wonder why we have one of those? Why do we have those? Everybody seems to want to be able to have something around your neck so you can't do it around here. But in Europe, in certain areas, they have more relaxed.
Right. And I don't know why we have them. I'm sure it's probably the insurance and the lawyers that are responsible for
lawyers kill everything.
Yeah.
My dad wanted me to be a lawyer. And I said, you would have been in jail forever because I wouldn't have made a good lawyer.
I'm sure it has something to do with that, but I'm sure maybe one day we'll get lucky enough and they'll extend the weight a little bit, because in my opinion, the 125-pound restriction kind of makes the builders get to the point where they're making concessions in the wrong areas. Because I would much rather have an airplane that's 135, 145, 150 pounds that is structurally overbuilt than one that's 125 pounds that is marginally built.
Yep.
Or sacrifices something as far as redundancy and whatnot. Like to make weight. One of the things we're doing to make weight on this airplane is instead of running individual ignition batteries, we're running ignition BECs. So now we've got 4 electronic devices that are a failure point when you could just have a battery and a mechanical switch. Huh. So it's little things like this. Like you start looking at big projects and you kind of get to the point to where it's like, well, you either self-insure it or you just don't build the airplane that big, or you make concessions as far as redundancy or structural concessions. And I'm not one to make concessions on structure or redundancy when it's something like this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You got to treat the airplane like it's a real airplane.
It is a real airplane.
It literally is. I mean, there's ultralights that are barely as big as this thing.
That's exactly right.
A full-scale BD-5 is only 1 foot larger than this airplane is in wingspan.
That's incredible. What's that little one, the teeniest little one, the Cricket? Is that the one with the 2 little engines sitting out there? And what does that airplane weigh? I don't know what it weighs without
I think empty weight on that airplane is about 400 pounds with no fuel and no pilot. And I think it's about 20-foot wingspan. So, I mean, it's about the same size as the B-29, and it uses 220, 150 cc engines on it off an RC airplane. So,
what's the wingspan on the Bailey bomber, the B-17, that Bailey bomber? Do you remember?
You got
to be close to it. It's got to be 28, maybe 30.
I'd say it's probably closer to like the 40 to 50.
Is it really?
Range. Yeah, that's if I had to take a guess out of thin air.
Yeah. I heard it was underpowered really bad.
Yeah, I don't see somebody fitting in a 20-foot wingspan B-17.
No, I have no desire to do that either. That's why I'll stay on the ground and watch my airplane, because when it hits the ground, I go get a hamburger, fries, and a Coke, and I think about what went wrong instead of going into the dirt.
Right? I sit in an airplane enough for work. I don't need to do it for fun.
I'm with you on that one.
Hey, let's give a
roll call.
Everybody in here tonight, just to show appreciation for everybody coming up in the house. Start up at the top, come on back down. Let's see. We have got, of course, Mr. Ken Wade, number 1 in here tonight, Mr. Lucky Man. We've got John Holligan, Craig Beaven, Johnny Stansel, Phil Camp, Arrow Air Shows. Good to have you here tonight. We've got, let's see, Mr. Wayne Triver. That would be you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what the IRS says. That's who I am.
Randy Larson. Good to have you here tonight. You got your sister in the house, Scott Monart. We have got, let's see, who else? Let's see. Going else. Let's see. Lyndon Stewart. He's all the way from Guyana, man. Appreciate you being here tonight. WW2 British Nerds back. Hey, man, what's up? Good to see you here tonight. Hanger 51. Kenny's in the house. Let me give him a big FU.
Which Kenny's this? This
Kenny.
is
Kenny. Short bus Kenny.
Short bus Kenny. Yeah, that's right. Turn that bus off. You can't idle. That's EPA, against EPA regulations.
Of course, we got Mr. Legend Hobby himself, Thomas Whelan, in the house tonight. We got Mom here hanging out with us, asking for the thumbs up. As always, for the thumbs up, guys. Jeff in Lower Alabama, or LA Jeff, as I like to call him. Let's see who else we got in here tonight. Mr. Jackson RC Aviation. How you doing, buddy? Hope you guys are well. Philip Cochran. Good to see you here tonight. Snow Rivers in the house. Glad to see you here, buddy. But yeah, we appreciate all the guys for being here tonight and hanging out with us, because they are big support to the channel every week, and we enjoy having great guests on here and giving guys something good to look at. So back to this airplane, man. So what are you doing now? Blasting it in the video?
Yeah, so a couple of things with the airplane that really just kind of drove me nuts. And the biggest one was the nose, specifically the cockpit area. It looked weird because it was it's kind of like they took the cockpit and just flattened it or squished it. So me being the person who always likes to make a project way more complicated than just fixing it, I completely redrew the entire nose of the airplane in CAD and 3D printed a mold of the nose, and then made a fiberglass nose, and then did all the wood structure for the nose gear structure in it, and then basically chopped the forward 2 feet of the B-29 off and put all the new stuff that I had drawn in CAD onto the airplane.
Wow.
So cool. in this video, I was literally kind of taking the new fuselage nose and the wood structure for it, and then did a whole bunch of body work, and then just to kind of solidify the body filler that blended the new with the old, I fiberglass over everything to kind of help lock it all in and make it a little bit better, instead of it wanting to kind of chip off over time with all the vibrations.
And so you think you're doing something when we glue foam and stuff back together? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
It's everything I can do to put an ARF together and put the engine on, servos in, and go fly it. And you're doing all this stuff.
yeah.
You know, sometimes I wish I could just take a kit or an ARF and just build it how it's supposed to, but I can never leave anything alone. I have to make everything more complicated just to kind of put my little spin on everything.
What? I do, man. I love detail. I can't help it. I love the detail. I love making things better.
Yep.
And, I just like flying. Put sticker on and go. That's me. I mean, I'll let him paint all day long. I want to go fly.
Yeah,
I love to hang out in your shop and watch you do these things, man, because I love the intricacy of all this stuff you're doing.
The scale detailing is the part of the hobby that I like the most. It's just,
well, there you go.
Yeah.
You guys can get married.
Yeah.
You are now married.
Taking a blank canvas that looks like a plastic piece of airplane and making it look like a real airplane is it's like an art form in and of itself.
Yeah, I love it, man.
That's me.
Are you in any other 3D printing for any of your stuff?
So I have actually designed and built my own 3D printer that is just for printing plugs to make composite molds out of. So I've got a 115-inch T38 Talon. The entire airplane, the fuselage, the wings, the tail, everything was 3D printed. And then I did all of the detail work like you would just a flying model. But then I molded the whole airplane and made an all-composite airplane out of that.
So I got a question.
All right.
What year did you win the lottery so you can do all this?
I have a very understanding wife.
Does she live with you, or does she live somewhere else?
Surprisingly, she still lives with me.
Man, he's got a lot going on.
He
must be a carte blanche ATM card for her or something.
Well, she has her hobby, I have mine.
Yeah, what's hers? Cats and flowers?
God, man. Cats, dogs, chickens, ducks.
I was close.
Books.
Anything but airplanes, right?
Pretty much, yeah. But if
I do have one more question.
All right.
For Christmas, has your wife ever bought you anything airplane related?
I don't think my wife has ever bought me anything for Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I didn't know what you wanted for Christmas.
Right? That is the number one
Another
answer
pair
she
of
always
underwear?
gives. The number one answer is, I don't know what I would get you because you just buy everything that you want anyway.
Well, don't we typically? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We thought it was just us.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I didn't know what you wanted. I mean, there's so many parts to pick from.
Yeah.
Right.
Not even a gift card to buy what you want.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
hey,
It's just airplane. Airplanes are not stupid. She's not going to say stupid. She'll say, such a waste of time. I'm going, it's like saying oxygen is a waste of time.
Right? They just they don't understand. Airplane is not a decision, it's a way of life.
like Wayne says, best analogy ever. This hobby does not. You don't pick this hobby; it picks you.
It picks
Yeah.
you.
Isn't that the truth?
Isn't it? See, he
Yeah.
even agrees. We don't even know each other.
Yeah.
It's true because I was gone about 20 some years, family, 4 kids, this high school, college, blah, blah, blah. But so when they all left, I had money. I didn't have any money. I didn't fly anything for 20 years. So I didn't even know what a Spectrum radio was when I came back. I go, what's Spectrum? And he's all, oh, a Spectrum is the best. I said, Futaba was the best when I left.
He's a Jetty man.
You're a Jetty man?
Yeah, I'm a Jetty guy.
There's nothing wrong with Jetty. Jetty's good.
That was my other choice until I got the new Spectrum I've got, and I came this close to getting the Jetty radio, but I didn't want to change out all my receivers.
I looked at Jetty radios, and I like them. But didn't they go out of business? Somebody buy them, or what's the deal with that?
Esprit is no longer their main distributor, from what I understand. Now there's like a Jetty USA or something.
Yeah. But they went through the problem times through there. I read somewhere. I don't know. I was reading and
all I know is I want to order something and it shows up.
Well, then it's a good product then, because if it works for you, it's a great product.
Exactly. Like I made the switch to Jetty probably 7 or 8 years ago. And I was a Spectrum / JR guy before I was Jetty. And I was Spectrum and JR for a long, long time. And I had a couple of issues that nobody could really figure out what it was, including Horizon. And I lost faith in the system based off of what I had seen. And I was like, maybe it's time for a change. And I had a couple of airplanes that needed a lot of really complex programming that the JR and the Spectrum stuff wasn't able to do at the time. And Jetty was really the only option I had because of those programming needs. So that was really the second biggest reason why I switched out of Spectrum.
And you've never looked back, right?
The first 3 months I had the Jetty stuff, it's a very steep learning curve. It is not user friendly like the Spectrum and the JR programming is. But once you figure it out, it's a really good system, and it's hard to complain about. I mean, it still sucks programming because it's not user friendly at all, but it's not that bad. There's a lot of guys on YouTube that have amazing videos, like Harry Cruzon's one. If it wasn't for his videos, I probably would have gave up and went back to JR or something.
Wow. So YouTube is good for you sometimes.
YouTube can be amazing.
It can be. It probably held marriages together more than we know.
Yeah, you never know.
Do you fly the 24, Jetty?
I've got a 16.
16 will work as well.
Yep. The 24 is on the short list of things to upgrade to, just because I would like to have the 900 megahertz. But I've been waiting for the second generation to come out.
All right, now when you talk, I just want to see if it makes a difference. We're trying to figure out this audio because I don't know the box. All right. Do you hear the scratching sound when I talk?
Not really.
See, I unplugged the thing out of mine.
So if I unplug mine?
I don't know.
Okay. How about that? Is that any better? Is that gone?
Yeah.
Is it better?
Yeah.
I don't hear anything.
It's me?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm not on. This is a dog and pony show. Which one you want to be? You the dog and I'm the pony, or?
I know, right?
Let's try that. Let's try that.
Yeah, that's better.
Is it better?
I'm not hearing the scratching.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's move on. We
Don't you
love
love
Jetty.
technology?
Jetty's awesome. The 16's awesome. He made it work. He figured it out. It was hard in the beginning, but in the long run, it's the best for him.
For me.
Yeah, that works great.
Well, that's why I said I was about to go with it because people were telling me, "Oh, you'll love it." Da da da. I just didn't want to change out all my receivers. So that's why I didn't do it. So.
Yeah, I was. Oh man, this chair is gonna kill me. I'm telling you. I was hesitant at first, but I ended up selling almost all my Spectrum stuff for about what I needed to replace it with new Jetty stuff. So, but I may have just hit the market at the right time.
Yeah, true that. Well, so I mean, like, how far along are you on this plane now? I'm still here.
It is. So I've got to do a little bit of sanding on the fuselage. Well, the whole fuselage needs sanded down to just kind of smooth it out. the entire wing top and the fuselage center has been painted silver. So we're at the point now to where we're doing pretty much like the final coloring and application of the metal or the metallized surface and everything.
Okay.
So
Well, the main reason I'm asking you is because Thomas reached out to me today, and we're gonna do something. If any of you guys watching the show tonight want to help Thomas build this airplane because it's costly, and you guys can see the work he's putting into it. So that being the case, Mr. Thomas over at Legend Hobby said tonight, from now until October 31st, midnight, October 31st. If any of you guys purchase these particular items, some of the proceeds will go towards this project that Thomas is building.
Oh,
So,
Monday.
We're going to go down the list and tell you guys. And also, if you go to Legend Hobby and purchase something, be sure to comment somewhere in the purchase that you saw the show tonight with the B29. And that way we can see how many people actually, are seeing this and can get the money and the discounts over to Thomas that's building this airplane. So the list of stuff that you can purchase is any ARF kit from $200 to $495. $40 goes towards this build. Anything $496 to $995, $50 will go towards the build. Any retract purchase between $199 and $299, a $20 donation gets made. And retracts $300 plus, a $30 donation gets made to the airplane. Now, if you purchase any engine from Legend Hobby, he will donate $20 to this fund. So basically, you guys, if you are going to buy something from Legend Hobby between now and October 31st, midnight, some of your proceeds can go towards the build of this B29, which would help because, as you can see, he is putting a lot of money in this, and it's going to be very nice. So that's just Legend Hobby's way of trying to help you out, Thomas, to get this project done because I know it's very costly.
Yeah, it is greatly appreciated. We want to say thank you to Thomas and Legend Hobby and everybody else to all the help they can do. It's been greatly appreciated. Everybody's been very forthcoming with being very appreciative of the project and sharing the whole process. So we're trying to bring the airplane back to the hobby because really this isn't our airplane. This is the hobby's airplane. Because I grew up watching this airplane when I was 10 to 18 years old, and when it was no longer showing up to Warbird events, it was kind of like something was missing.
Yes. Well, that's why I say, Thomas wants to help you out with this. So, guys, like I said, if you go buy something at Legend Hobby, some of the proceeds will go towards this project, and that's just Thomas Whelan's way of trying to help out the love of aviation and get this plane back up in there because it is very costly. And Thomas is coming up with this all out of pocket. So, Legend's an awesome company, and he just wants to see you get this thing going. And he's trying to help any way he can. So, guys, go over there and buy something at Legend and comment that you saw it here tonight on the B29. And like I said, proceeds, some of that will go towards helping this airplane get back in the air. So now, what are you doing here in the video?
So like anything where you redesign something and try and make it fit something that's already around, they never fit right.
Right. Yeah.
No, radiuses are hard. They're the worst.
Yeah. Especially when you're trying to make something that's got a lot of compound curves fit something that's relatively not compound, and you don't really know exactly how big it is, and you're trying to take measurements using tape measure. Like it's you can never really get it perfect. So in this instance, the nose was about 1/8 of an inch off fitting where the forward portion of it is missing. So I came up with a method from a buddy of mine probably 15 years ago that involves using tight bond, a heat gun, and an iron to attach balsa wood sheeting. And I used this method on a Horton 229 flying wing from World War II to sheet that wing because that wing had a lot of compound curvature to it.
Yeah, it does.
And basically you put the tight bond on whatever you want to apply it and you let it dry. And then you put the tight bond on the other side that you want to attach to. So say for instance, like a wing structure, you would put the tight bond on all of your structure as far as the wing ribs and the spars. And then you would take your wing skin sheeting then you would place it down on the wet glue, and then you would pull it away, and then you let all that tight bond dry. And then what you do is you put your wing skin back on, and you go over all of your wing grips and your spars with the iron. And when you reheat when you heat the wing skin with the iron, it reactivates the glue and it sticks it together. So it makes a very easy way of sheeting a very large area or a very complex shape fairly simple. And that's exactly what I was doing here on the B-29, as I just put all that tight bond on the wing or on that piece of balsa skin, and then on the fuselage to let it dry, and then use the iron to reheat it to glue it together.
Huh. That's pretty smart.
And tight bond is a lot easier to sand than CA is.
Yeah,
No CA is like a rock, concrete.
Yep.
And so basically now you're just going in with a flat sandbar and taking it down, right?
Yep, exactly. That's a permagrit sanding bar, one of their longer ones, with a couple of rounds of just painter's tape on either end where you don't want to sand. In this case, the part of the fuselage behind to the left, and then the fiberglass piece to the right. And then you just take that coarse permagrit. If you don't have permagrit tools, they're amazing. Buy them. And it really knocks it down very, very quickly.
Man.
So I think
you only got 6,000 more panels to go.
Yeah, there's a whole lot more work to do. There's the guy who's in charge of.
There he is. Is that the one that's responsible?
That's the one who's responsible.
Okay, he needs to come closer to the camera because we got to talk to him.
Come say hi. You're on live on the internet.
Come on, get over here by the camera.
Come on over.
Get over here by the camera.
Come on.
He's shy. Come on, they want to ask you questions about your airplane.
That's right. You can't back out now. You forced your dad to get this airplane. We just want to get some answers. I remember 13 and Rebellious. Do you remember being 13 and Rebellious?
A little bit. Yeah. It's been a long time ago, though.
Not too long. Just 50 years. Okay, fine.
You don't even want to come say hi? Sorry. Say hi, YouTube, and then walk away again?
We're going to talk airplanes, not girls.
The other troublemaker's hiding behind him, too.
I hear you.
There's nothing new. This is the old story.
So now, are you going to put all the windows in this thing up front, too?
I am. They've all been cut out since then. That was just kind of a way to make sure I didn't break it while I was working on it.
I got you.
Oh, finally, someone came to the...
That's the daughter.
Go get your brother and tell him to get out here. You are more of a man than your brother is. Tell him to get out here.
She's definitely the more adventurous one.
Yeah.
I can tell. That wall is not going to save you. That corner is not going to save you.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
Wow.
it with all the windows cut out.
Yeah, it looks like I'm in the front of Star Wars.
Pretty much. I mean, it's like whatever that ship is. I can't remember. I'm not a Star Wars guy.
I still haven't seen Star Wars, and it came out in '77.
I wouldn't tell that.
Was it the X-Wing fighter or whatever? That's got the whole weird looking nose on the front of it.
Yeah, it's a weird deal.
Man. So now you're putting this. How long will you assume that it will take you at the field to put this airplane together to fly?
Less than an hour is the plan.
Okay.
Shoot, that's faster than me.
So yeah, no doubt.
I when it comes to these big airplanes, I pretty much have a rule that if it takes longer than 45 minutes, I got to change something. This particular thing, it's got let's see, 3, 6. It's got 8 bolts to put the airplane together. That's it.
Wow. That is like a foaming almost. You know?
Pretty much. There's 3 per outboard wing panel, and then there's 2 or 1 per each horizontal stab, and they're all the same size, and it'll be fine. And so hopefully it should be well under an hour, preferably about 30 minutes. It depends on if you have to take the propellers off for transport or not.
Dang. That's pretty impressive, man, to be able to do it. You need to get his ideas, man.
Have you seen that company? I think it's a European company that's doing all the fuel injection on the DA engines and got the generator on the front.
I have.
Have you ever thought about just a small central battery and then some generators to power everything?
You know, I kind of looked at that DA100 they have with the fuel injection and everything on it, and it's really impressive. But I'm kind of again, it comes down to weight.
Gotcha.
I've been tasked with potentially putting onboard starters on the airplane.
Yeah.
But again, it comes down to weight.
I get it. Yeah.
It's just every pound that I can save is a pound that I have to at this point.
So how much fuel are you thinking total to run it?
25 gallons.
No, I'm thinking probably
An entire gallon of gas can.
probably about 40 ounces per engine. So about a gallon and a half per flight. But those, I mean, I think it's the same tanks that Mac had on it when they were doing their thing. And they did, I want to say their whole routine was about 30, 35 minutes long. And I think they went through about 40 gallons of fuel in 30, 35 minutes.
Wow.
So we're not entirely sure what we're going to do airplane wise as far as when it comes to the flying aspect. In my eyes, the airplane was built to do one thing, and it was basically built as an extra 300 that looks like a B-29. So it was built with the intention of being flown like how Mac flew it. So one side of me says, if it's built like that, it should be flown like that. But on the other side, it's hard on the airplane putting it through that much stress. And
Do you have an idea of top speed it will have?
Under 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the type of guy who I fly big airplanes, mostly scale. My big 40% Cessna 310 twin, I say it flies a basic IMAX sequence, so it'll do loops, rolls, hammerhead, stall turns, like Immelman split S's. It'll do all that stuff fairly well. And that airplane, it does well doing it, but I do it very scale. Like I'm not out there yanking and banking on the airplane because
Yeah.
I mean, if you get out there with this airplane or like a big 310 or whatever, and you start yanking on it, it's only a matter of time before something breaks on it.
That's exactly right. Did you see? Sorry, go ahead.
And this thing, like, we'll probably fly it, not like Mac did, because I don't want to take away from how amazing Mac's whole thing was with the airplane. We'll do it similar, but it's going to be different. It's going to be probably a lot more tame than what it was, just to lengthen the airplane's lifespan. Because even when I was working on it, you could see stress cracks in the structure of the airplane, in the skins and the fiberglass and everything. And I took a little bit of a weight penalty by adding a whole nother layer of glass across the whole airplane, because I wanted to make the airplane a little bit better strength wise.
Yeah.
So I'm not constantly like doing structural, or not structural, but cosmetic
The durability factor.
Yeah, like we want the airplane to last, because like I said earlier, we look at this as more like the hobby's airplane than our airplane. We're just kind of the stewards of it at the moment.
I got you. Well, it'll definitely be a beautiful static piece sitting on the ground. A big conversation piece like crazy.
Oh, we're gonna fly it.
But I'm just saying.
Don't let us confuse you. We're gonna fly and we're gonna have a good time.
We're gonna fly it.
But I'm just saying, sitting there, it's going to be a sight to behold.
Oh, it already is.
Yeah. I mean,
the airplane when Mac had it was phenomenal. It was just, you couldn't help but just be drawn to it by the sheer size.
That's exactly what it is. It's true.
And my son, he comes out here and he helps a good bit, but I'm kind of like the guy doing the majority of the work, like you can see in the videos. And my number one thought when I first saw the airplane and I realized that we were coming home with it was the airplane needed a bare metal finish, like you see a lot of B-29s. Like you look at Doc and its polished finish, and it's just a phenomenal looking airplane. And what I have envisioned in my head, I've kind of started getting there with the finish. And I've posted a couple of pictures on our Facebook group with like the horizontal stabilizer and the finish that I have going for it. And if the airplane comes out even 10% of what I have envisioned in my head, it's going to be an amazing airplane, even more so than what it already is and has been.
Well, John Holland is throwing around some money in here tonight.
What?
John, we appreciate that, buddy.
Captain Thailand is throwing around the dinero?
Yeah.
A little sunshine for better equipment. Oh, so he wants you to get the GP 123s.
Yeah.
Those are the front runners.
Good choice. I hear the great engines. Well, I've seen them fly, man. They're great engines.
Yeah, I've got friends that are in the 3D side of the hobby.
Yeah, and they go for them. GP3s are good.
Yeah, they've told me like do the GPs and don't even look back.
Yeah, there was a guy. What do you have? He had that Russian Reno racer, one that Legend sells it.
Okay.
Anyway, he had a GP, whatever the thing is, GP but he had the 38cc one, right?
Yeah.
Man, that thing revved. I mean, he was revving that thing. Wow, you
Yeah.
could hear the difference. I knew it wasn't a DA, and I knew it wasn't a DLE or a Stinger, but you could just hear just like maybe another 1,000 more RPM. Doesn't sound like much, but that'll make you scoop faster than everybody else.
Right. Yeah.
GP
With the GP123s, Bila, they make a semi-scale, both Corsair and P51 style 4-bladed propeller. So that's kind of the power combination we're looking at right now is the GPs and then the big 4-blade prop on the thing.
Randy Larson said we'll still drop the X1 rocket when completed.
So we don't have the X1. That's the one thing the gentleman we bought the airplane from wanted to keep just for the nostalgia aspect of the airplane so that he would have something to remember it with. We're probably going to do something like the X1. I have an idea in my head that keeps with the X1 theme, but is not an X1. But the X1's not off the table yet.
They ruined the Douglas Skyrocket, right?
The current thing we're looking at doing is the Douglas Skyrocket, which was the first airplane that went Mach 2 that was also dropped by Fertile Myrtle at some point. That was a Navy project that was kind of going alongside concurrently with the X1 thing, or shortly a couple years after.
Well, that'd be different because you're taking it to the next level.
Right. And the cool thing with the Skyrocket is that the Skyrocket was both a jet and a turbine. Or I'm sorry, it was a jet turbine and it was a rocket powered airplane.
Gotcha.
So
yeah.
you could take the airplane and you could make this drop version both EDF and you could put rocket motors on it. So
that's cool.
More than just a
some
power.
Easties.
Yeah, it would be more. It would be more than just a glider at that point. So
Jared Kirby was wondering if you will ever bring the B-29 to Joe Nall.
Oh yeah. Currently, we're planning on going to Joe Nall next year. The airplane right now, my goal is to have it pretty much done aesthetically and wiring wise to where it'll be basically assembled and sitting there with or without stuff to fly. It depends on the financial aspect, but we're hoping to have it ready to fly for Joe Nall. It's just the financial aspect of it is kind of the big question right now. But one way or the other, we're planning on being there with the airplane, whether we fly it or not.
And cool. Where exactly are you located, Thomas?
I'm in West Virginia, so we're about 2 hours west of Washington, D.C.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I used to go to West Virginia snowskiing all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, snowshoe.
Oh, yeah. We're only about, 3 hours from Snowshoe? Yeah, about 3 hours.
Yeah, it takes us about 8 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like a horrible drive.
Well, it's not too bad. The last 2 hours going up the mountain is the worst part.
Yeah.
But it's one of the best places close to North Carolina to go skiing, So.
Yeah. Yep.
It's really nice. And Jared, he actually lives in the mountains of North Carolina.
Okay. Yeah.
They had a lot of flooding a couple of weeks ago and got hit by that storm pretty hard, and their airfield got wiped out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I grew up in Greenville, South Carolina. I've got family just north of Charlotte, and I grew up driving through the mountains of Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee. So I know a lot of those areas by name from watching the news, and everybody in that area. I mean, they've got our prayers and everything because they've just gotten hammered the past couple of weeks.
It's just
it was terrible.
It's horrible. I mean, they're finding all kinds of people in trees.
Yeah, I've got friends that are going. They've been going there for the past couple of weeks doing search and rescue stuff on their own time, and the pictures they send me and the things I've seen in places that I remember as a kid that are basically completely gone now.
It's I mean, it's nothing but a river, literally.
Yeah,
it's a new river.
Yeah, entire towns are just gone. And
it's exactly right.
It's terrible.
Man, so this what you're doing now is you're just putting everything in the nose cone and getting it so it has a place to hook up and on the front and everything. Is that what you're doing here?
Yep, the entire cockpit section of the airplane's removable. That way we can basically get into that for all the receiver batteries and the retractable batteries and everything to charge them. Because the one thing I hate most on airplanes is unnecessary hatches.
Yeah. It looks like you're turning into quite like the Ramey RC here, man. With the
yeah,
it's pretty impressive everything you've done to build this airplane.
Yeah, I've done a lot of stuff that Ramey has done in different ways. it's like everything in the world. You can do everything 100 different ways, and no way is wrong.
Right.
It's different. So Ramey, he's got his kind of process figured out. I've got my process that's really it's figured out fairly well, and we both kind of do a lot of the same thing, just in slightly different ways.
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing with the way you 3D print and all your laser printing and everything else. It's pretty impressive, man.
Well, we appreciate that.
Well, I mean, I appreciate seeing somebody being able to do that kind of work. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I self-taught myself CAD over almost 20 years now, and a lot of the things that you realize that they don't make tools that you need. And for instance, my big 3D printer that I designed and built, they don't make affordable ones that will do what that printer does. That printer, it'll print 24 by 24 by 48 inch tall stuff.
That's massive. Little Lockheed Martin Jr. here.
Wow. You got Mr. Tim Toutant throwing around some sunshine.
Mr. Tim Toutant. He's the
trees.
sax man, not sex man, sax man.
Yeah. So are you using high sol in there or just epoxy?
That's all high sol there. I buy high sol by 200 milliliter tubes.
Wow. God.
Yeah,
Because
for building construction buildings and giant aircraft, real aircraft.
Yeah.
So what do you actually do for a living?
I'm an airline pilot.
There it is. There it is.
you
See,
go.
I
Yeah.
told you. He owes me $5.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm a poor airline pilot.
What? Which one you fly, or how many different ones do you type rated for?
Currently, I fly Boeing 757s and 767s.
Wow.
Ooh,
All right.
very nice. Now, you guys still getting parts, being that when nobody's making any parts anymore?
The company I work for, they make their own parts.
Okay, well, there you go. There's the answer right there.
Yeah.
Or at least
Make
that's
your own parts. See, he does the same thing at home as he does in the real life at the
exactly.
big
That
deal.
explains a lot.
That explains a lot.
That's why I don't get into FPVs. Like if I want to do that, I'll go to work.
Yeah.
Get it?
No doubt.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
So he literally has no time. Well, you know what he is? He's another Thomas.
Yeah.
He's got his finger in everything, right? Flies the real ones,
Yeah.
builds the small ones that makes like the real ones, has no time in between that or that, but yet has a wife and kids.
Yeah.
You don't belong to any of the Book of the Month Club, do you?
I don't think so.
No, I know you don't.
My wife doesn't understand why I go to work and then come home and play with toy airplanes.
That's a kind of a funny you say that, because the wives or the girlfriends always thinks go ahead, take care of that. Now he wants to talk. He wants something.
Well, he wants to talk to me every time I'm on the phone. And 5 seconds after I'm off, he runs away.
Do your thing.
No. So he's asking if he can have something else to drink other than water.
Too young right now, man.
No, you're not.
If you're not going to come talk to them,
Near beer.
finish your room.
My room is finished.
13-year-olds.
I remember those years. I just
me too.
discovered girls. It's been a problem ever since.
Every time you watch this video, the plane just gets better and better.
I know.
And better. I mean, how many parts are in this series?
I think it's at almost 50 now.
Wow. That's a lot.
That's some good entertainment. That's talk about binge watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have learned that most people don't want to watch more than about 10 to 12 minutes. So I've really kind of shortened a lot of the videos. Like the earlier ones, you can see there's some like 20 to 30-minute ones in there. Now I try and keep it to 12 to 15, maybe 20 minutes every now and then, depending on what I'm trying to show.
Yeah, because your capacity audience, if you went back 20 years, they'd be watching this 24/7, 365 because everybody had to build.
Right, exactly.
Now it's, what's our famous saying? 6 screws in a charge.
Yeah. But, the thing that's so cool is just like, Jared Kirby just said, if you sit down and watch videos like this, you learn so many different tips just to work on smaller scale airplanes like we fly, and even foam airplanes, because you're dealing with foam, you're dealing with fiberglass, you're dealing with reinforcement,
electronics,
you're dealing with laser cutting,
magneto-gravitic propulsion.
It's just really cool, and the tips that guys can pick up from watching stuff to fix their own
Scalar
airplanes
waves,
is really cool.
Directed energy weapons.
Yeah, and that's the videos have kind of died off over the past couple of weeks because I went back to work a lot because it was summertime flying. Yeah. And Honestly, a lot of the stuff I've been doing is just kind of rinse and repeat of things that I've already shown once or twice.
Yeah.
And you can only make a video of standing on an airplane so many times before people are
Oh
like,
yeah, no, I get that. I totally understand.
It's like watching paint dry after a while, you know.
Dude, literally.
It's fun, especially when you got a good pizza. And
yeah, and there has
time
been
on it.
there has been a lot of watching paint dry on this airplane. I've gone through almost 3 gallons of primer.
Good. God.
3 gallons.
Is there a particular type?
I use a Evercoat Durabuild, and whenever I fiberglass stuff, I do 1 layer of fiberglass, but I use a peel ply. And when you pull that peel ply off and you trim the excess fiberglass, the airplane's ready for paint. I don't do a second flow coat of epoxy like a lot of people do.
Huh.
I go on, and earlier y'all showed a video where I was talking about rolling the primer onto the airplane with a foam or a fabric like trim roller. And that's literally what I do is I take a little 4 or 6 inch trim roller for like your household paint, and I roll 2 or 3 really, really heavy coats of primer on the airplane, and then I sand it down with 120 and 220 grit paper, and then I go straight to detail work. I very rarely take Warbirds below 220 grit when it comes to sandpaper.
Wow.
Because by the time you paint it and you weather it, all the 220 just looks like weathering.
Wow.
And like I've got buddies that I've said, I'm like, they're like, oh, what'd you sand down to? I'm like 220. They're like, that's it. I'm like, yeah. They're like, why? I'm like, show me where you see anything, like show me the 220 scratches. And you can't see them.
Wow. Are they retracts electric or are they air?
They're electric on this thing.
They're going to be electric. I was going to say, you can have onboard compressors when you got that thing on. If it was air.
Yeah. I want to say, I think the main gear has 2 7-inch wheels.
That's massive.
The 3 landing gear and the wheels and the brake assemblies, I think, are 18 pounds total for this set of gear.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, the landing gear for this thing weighs more than most people's airplanes.
That's crazy.
Well, man, look, we're getting down to that time, and I just wanted to basically say we just appreciate you being on here tonight, and a couple other things. If you guys have not checked out Thomas's channel, it's RC Flight Works on YouTube. Definitely go over and watch the rest of these video builds. You might pick up some great tips for working on your stuff yourself. And again, if you guys make purchases on certain ARF kits and retracts and things like that between now and October 31st at midnight, Thomas over at Legend Hobby is going to donate a certain amount of the proceeds from those purchases to the fund to get this airplane back revitalized, flying up in the air. And so hopefully we'll all get to see some great videos of it and get you to get to see it done, man, because I'm ready now. I'm ready to get this thing done.
The 2025 flying season is getting here very quick.
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it, man. That's what I'm saying. So
it will.
Yeah, so if any of you guys are going to purchase anything from Legend Hobby between now and October 31st, like I said, put in the comments. You saw the B-29 show tonight, and Thomas will definitely donate some of the proceeds towards this build. And we appreciate everything that he's always doing for this community. He's always giving back to the community, great customer service. He's been good to us. And we just appreciate everything he does for the RC community and this channel as well. So, again, man, we got to get you back up here now. When you get this thing, ready to go, we want to get you back on here, show it, see it run. We want to be there before anybody else sees it. You know what I mean? So,
there are quite a few people that said they want to be there for the maiden.
Hey, exactly. Yeah. Well, we want to be there before the maiden. We want to see it before the maiden.
Hey,
so,
you never know what might happen. I might show up to your place.
Hey, man, that'd be great. Come on down because we love to have you fly in Kinston. We got a big enough field. You can do it, man. We got a nice strip and everything. So
perfect. Maybe we'll just make a big party of it. We'll go down to Triple Tree.
Absolutely, man. That's what we need to do. No doubt. Well, look, man, we're going to let you get to your family, and we just appreciate you tonight. And like I said, you guys go over and check out RC Flight Works on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications so that when Thomas gets stuff up, you guys will be notified and you can see what he's doing in the build. And we hope that'll get you even more subscribers, man, and getting people watching this for you. And hopefully Thomas over at Legend Hobby will, get some fundage coming in for this airplane and get some things done.
Yep, it is greatly appreciated. We appreciate you having us on tonight. Every little bit helps at this point.
Absolutely, man.
A couple of people do a couple of bucks every at a time. I mean, it adds up really quick.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, any guys buying stuff, hit them up at Legend Hobby, and also put in the comments. You saw the B29 video, and Thomas Whelan over there will definitely give back. So, we're gonna let you get to your family, man. And again, we just appreciate you. Tell your son we got to have him on next time to talk about this thing.
I'll definitely warm him up to it.
Yeah, there you go. You got to break him in. But Thomas, hang out for just a minute, and I'll be right back to you, man. And we'll talk just a little bit more before you're gone. All right.
All right, sounds good. Y'all have a good one. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. You too. All right, guys. Well, there it is, man. And
that's crazy.
Hope y'all enjoyed that tonight. Because, like I said, guys, you can learn a lot of stuff from watching other guys build video planes in their videos. You get some great tips. I mean, I saw stuff already tonight that I was pretty impressed.
Just when you think you know something,
yeah.
You run into somebody like that.
Exactly.
And you find out you don't know anything.
Nothing. Exactly. And there's so much to learn in this hobby.
It's endless.
Building stuff.
It's endless.
So, we definitely appreciate all you guys for being here tonight, as always, every week, for tuning in and hanging out with us. We're definitely going to be having some cool people on the show, so you guys aren't going to miss it. And, I may not be here week after next.
Why?
Because I got to go to Greensboro.
Why? Never mind.
But we appreciate you guys. And if I'm not here, Wayne will be here. So, but yeah.
Hi, Jack.
Hey, go back and watch the rest of it, Jared. Always check it out, man. It's on YouTube. So we appreciate all you guys for being here tonight. Hope you have a safe week. Prayers going out to everybody that's needing help right now.
That's horrible.
In the different states, Florida, all the way up through North Carolina, Tennessee.
No kidding.
And hope you guys can get some flying in when the weather's right. Kind of like you
supposed to be good this weekend, too.
It is, man. I know.
It's supposed to be great.
So, guys, take care, and we will see you next week here. And be safe. Happy flying. See you soon.